So here we are soldering 12 gauge wire on a R1 ESC. Almost feels like 2022 again, and we are back in the drag race days. Look at my solder joints. Oh, I know, it's not 10 gauge wire, so it's definitely not going to hit that hard. What's up, guys? It's Chad. Welcome back to the Dorky M40 RC channel. So we are starting off our B7 build, and we're starting it off with a bang because we are going to be throwing a ton of R1WURKS parts into the B7 that we're making here on the channel. Now, the one thing that's awesome is that when R1 started making the DC1 drag car back in 21, 22, whenever, 21, I think, you know, it kind of like they made that leap into car parts, and the B7 series, it seems like they've fully committed to. I've not spoken to them about this or anything else. Believe me, I'm on the team, but I'm probably way down on the list, that's for sure. But the cool thing about it is I remember hearing some rumblings that, you know, they wanted to do more than just electronics and make great motors, which everybody, I believe, still uses this ESC for drag cars. You know, I follow the drag scene a little bit. I mean, it still seems to be the thing, and R1 hasn't brought out a new ESC. They really don't need to because they still got the best stuff. Would I like to have a smaller version of this to put into things like my F1 car up there and stuff? For sure I would. But when I'm going to build a buggy, there's nothing that's not going to go in that buggy that's not R1 power. So we got the Digital 3 ESC. I have one of the 21.5 short motors that they have. So I've never even had it installed on anything. I originally bought it, I think, last year to put into my B6.3 street stock that we were running. So we're going to be throwing that in there and trying out some other stuff. And we got all kinds of goodies here on the bench to open up and look at. First, we'll look at the R1 website. If you go and click on shop by car, you can see they've got these nice columns: B7, the four-wheel drive, the 7 4.2, and of course their drag car, if that's still your thing. So when you click on the B7, they are dropping parts left and right. I think they just dropped 4 new parts this week. Unfortunately, I didn't know about them when I ordered my stuff last week, so I have associated steering cranks coming, but still, this R1 stuff is going to be better or just as good as quality. And if you look at the prices, they're cheaper than the factory team stuff. So there's no reason not to buy this stuff. They are really going to be putting their heart and soul into it. They released that stuff this week, a slipper eliminator with their own 48 pitch spur gears that will be going on there. And then they've done some other cool things, like they've done some lighter machined bulkheads, one-piece servo mount right here, some slipper stuff, some titanium shock screws, bearings, C and D blocks. They've also developed a 3-gear transmission to go ahead and put into the B7, because the B7s, the whole part of the design that they did was to move the motor forward, and they did that by redesigning the entire gearbox and making it a 5-gear gearbox. So they are giving you your 3-gear back now, and you're still getting all of the advantages of being able to move that motor forward and everything. So pretty cool. You can see how that is going to work inside of there with the B7, and of course we'll be building it all up here on the channel so you can take a look at it. But then of course they've got all of their other little things, of course, hardware, titanium this, titanium that. They've got fan. They've also been making tools, which I actually picked up one of their ride height gauges. Again, cheaper than like a ProTech or a Hootie or anything else like that. So let's take a look at some of the stuff we got here on the bench today. So the first thing is going to be that fan. This is going to be a 30 millimeter motor fan. Comes with its own cable. Always want to keep these cables together because I've noticed that sometimes fans and cables just do not work very well together. The machine, this thing is really light. Looks good. You know, it's a 6-bladed fan, and you know, it's coming in at 13 bucks. The Hootie fan that I purchased to go onto my F1 car, I believe like was around $30, and it broke, and I said never doing that again. And now it has a $15 fan on there, which is working just as fine. So $12.99 right there for that fan. So let's just keep on going down the list here of all the stuff that we got in no particular order. Here is their aluminum C block. They make this in a regular and in a wide. And if you look at the website description, it talks about having things beefed up a little bit, but then also it being a little bit lighter, because I believe these things are, let's go ahead and look at B7 aluminum mount here. Increased cross-sectional thickness, increased strength over the stock part while maintaining the standard mounting and pill locations. And then they show how it looks on the actual car. Lightweight, precision, in-house, anodized black with that R1 branding. So that is your close-up view right there. So we've got that, and that is going to be going on to the car. This right here looks really awesome. This is the all-in-one piece servo mount, and we'll take this out of the bag so you guys can take a look at that, and we'll show you that here on the screen while I get it out of the bag. The B7 servo mount is all one piece now. It's not individual pieces, but it is plastic in the kit. I think there is a factory team upgrade part. This thing is freaking really nice. I mean, this is super thin and lightweight, feels super strong. So that is exactly what we're going to need to mount our servo in our B7. So that is really freaking cool. And let's just grab this here. This is their titanium top shaft set screw. So you, of course, get a new set screw in the B7 kit that you don't have to assemble anymore. It's actually, you used to have to put the little pin in there, and it was a pain in the ass to get in there. You had to like beat it in with a hammer. It was nuts. This is all machined. Looks like one piece, maybe. Can't tell. Have to look at the actual ad and see what they say about this thing. But it's got a little bit of a little unique design on it that kind of flares out a little bit, that'll fit into the slipper a little bit. And yeah, I'm digging it for sure. And they've got the actual weight specifications on here. You know, you're saving almost 2 grams, and that's all rotational weight. So you get your drivetrain as smooth as you can. Here's the bulkheads. Now, the cool thing about the bulkheads is this is going to be a first for me. Man, these things are small. The way that the chassis is on the B7 now is it's so narrow on the front, and they went to these wider arms, and the bulkheads literally are almost, I mean, if not a third, definitely almost, I mean, they're really a lot smaller. So here's what we look like here on the bench with the bulkhead right there. So this is the plus or minus 2.5 degrees, and it's pretty much the same deal. You do get the aluminum 0 degree bulkhead, at least with the B7 kit now. But, you know, again, if you're looking to upgrade that, this one has increased durability and strength, a little bit of extra material, and of course they are in most cases keeping the same weight or reducing it. And it's an important thing to think about. It's like everybody, like, you know, why wouldn't you, if you're not going to buy factory team, why wouldn't you want to buy something like from R1 versus, you know, 1UP or 1RC or all these other China manufacturers where this stuff is being made, you know, by people here in the USA, and the pricing is better or the same, and you're getting better quality or the same in nearly every case. So we'll take a look at something easy here. They've got chassis protectors, $11 for the chassis protector. I mean, I've seen these like $15, $20. You know, that is a freaking great deal right there. They've got it in like 4 different colors. You can check that out on the website. Next part we got here, this is the spring adapters and what these little things do. I don't want to take them out of the pack because I don't want to show you, but these are like the little spring cups that just go on the end if you're going to use the slipper clutch. You can see you've got one that goes right there, one on the other end, and then I think there's a nut that comes with it inside there too. At least I hope so. I really would like to have that blingy R1 golden nut on the outside of there, but they're made out of titanium, lighter than the stock steel parts. I thought they were plastic, so maybe Associated has upgraded those to steel. I haven't got the B7 kit. Should have been here today, but the post office screwed me, so it will be here tomorrow. Got a D block here as well, and the D blocks are pretty important, especially on the B7, because they actually don't have a chassis that goes underneath them now. They'll bolt up from the bottom, and they kind of hang off of the back side of the B7 chassis, so you don't have to take a whole bunch of crap apart to like change your rear pills if you want to change things like your toe, your squat, anti-squat, everything else like that. And that part is on right here. $13 for the D block, and again, lightweight, direct fit, thicker sections, so that way you've got some increased strength. And of course, in-house precision machining, again, made in California. So why wouldn't you want to do it? We got another bulkhead here. This is the 0 degree. So depending upon what kind of track and what kind of kick up you're looking for, you get the 0 degree here, and then you of course can use that, and you can use your caster inserts that go in your front C-hubs to change all of your different caster kick-up angles, whatever. Or you can go, with that plus 2.5, so you can go from 27.5 all the way down to, let's see, I think it's 22, 20. Yeah, you can, you know what I'm saying. You can get that kick-up and caster real low. And then the last thing is going to be their precision ride height gauge, which again, everybody makes these, ProTech, Hootie, everybody else, but the R1 is coming in at a good price, man. I mean, if you're looking for something like this, you definitely are not going to be able to beat the price that they have it at. So it's like, why wouldn't you buy it from R1? Because the quality is freaking awesome and everything else. And it is super nice. Also very lightweight. And how this is going to work is you can undo this screw back here and you can kind of free everything up. So once we free it up, then we can, we have a floating ride height gauge that you can just stick underneath there, and you can see it's got all kind of writing and all that stuff on there for you. So ride height gauge, 10 to 45 millimeters. And, you stick this under your buggy, and your buggy will sit on it, and that'll be like your ride height. Or what you can do is you can bring it up and say, let's say that I want my ride height to be probably like around, 14 millimeters. And I can just go ahead. Oh, it's got the gauge on the back side too. That is nice. That way you can bring it back here and tighten up the screw, and you're not going to have to worry about flipping things around and making sure that you are set where you want to be. Nice. Oh, it's actually got this dial too. So you can just, perfect. So what I can do is I can just set it to 14 where I want it. And then I can just loosen or unloosen this dial back here on either side. And now I'm set at 14 millimeters. So then I can go around to my car and I can see how everything's going. I usually like just having mine free floating like this. That way the car will hold it down and I can kind of bounce the car a little bit and all that kind of stuff to set my ride height the way that I want to. So we'll just go ahead and leave that out of the bag because we'll be using that thing right away. So, what do you think about all this stuff? I think it all looks pretty cool. They are releasing stuff, it looks like, on the weekly. Who knows what else they're coming up with? Maybe they'll see this video and let me know. It'd be awesome to save some money on shipping, that is for sure, because if they're going to make an upgrade part for the B7, I'm pretty damn sure that it's going to be in my car. So we've got battery and a couple of other things from R1 coming as well. And the battery is really interesting because it's a 2S LCG LiPo like that Tekin 130C, but it's 60 bucks. And it's super lightweight and super skinny. So I'm really excited to test that battery to see how well that thing is going to perform. The R1 1S battery that I had for my GT12 car is sick. The IRs on it were like always below 1. It would come off the track maybe about 1.8. The Mud Boss battery, the 5200 battery that I ran in the TTO2, that thing was worth a tenth of a second. It's the reason why I won that championship trophy back there and all of these different TTO2 trophies right there. That battery was worth a tenth, sometimes a little bit more than a tenth, depending upon how heated it might have been. I don't know how that would have happened, but yeah, I mean, I dropped and charged that thing for the whole season at like 30 amps, and it would go onto the track at like 0.7 IR, and it would come off the track after a 5-minute run at like 1.3. It's probably one of the best batteries I've ever had in my life. And it's sitting in the battery safe right now in storage charge. And hopefully the next time I pull it out, maybe in a month or a couple months, it'll be just as badass. So I'm sure it will be. And then one day it's just going to say, I've won you enough and I need to go to bed. That's it. It's cool. So we'll talk to you guys later. Check back on the channel for all this kind of stuff. Peace.